Well, guys, okay, so today, or this week actually, you guys have a lot going on, okay? You have a lot going on right now. Um, Honestly, I feel like this whole thing could be really draining, honestly, kind of exhausting. Especially because we're moving from the past here with the Knight of Swords. There was a lot of combative energy, fighting for what you believed in. I feel like there was a serious push forward. There was a lot of communication and a lot of talking. For some of you guys, this could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius that came in into your life, and they came in with a message, or this could be this could be you coming in with a message towards this somewhat the same individual or someone completely different. Yeah, but there was some back and forth here. Then we move into the present, right? And we have the Five of Swords, guys. So I feel like that if initially, I don't know who started the fight, but there's y'all finishing it here. Because you have the Five of Swords. That's like somebody going in and really going in, right? Finish what was started. This can be very brutal because this is talking about ruthless energy and really trying very very hard to achieve a specific goal. It's one of those cards that can be really bloody, you know what I mean? But not bloody, but it's just brutal, man, when this energy comes up. And then finally, you guys have the future being the Four of Pentacles. So it's almost like you retract in. So whoever did whatever they needed to do to win, definitely, gains, not gained, but they ended up pushing somebody back, someone receded back. Somebody started holding back on, talking about things or not feeling like they can communicate. They refuse to communicate now in the future. Now, looking back at the past here with the Knight of Swords, you have the Strength card internally. So yeah, I feel like there's somebody that was coming from a place of truth. They needed to communicate. They needed to say what they needed to say, and I feel like it was coming from a place of being brave as well. Because I don't think somebody was going outside of their comfort zone when it came to communicating like that. Because I don't think this individual talks like this or communicates in the way that they do right here. This is unnatural in a way. Like even for you, Capricorn, if this was you, it's not natural for you to come at somebody like that. At least not typically, right? Stereotypically, I'm sure you would go for the gun if somebody was slagging you off, but to initiate the fight, I feel like to some degree you had to have some sort of bravery with this, and I feel like it's in regards to standing up for yourself. Because here externally, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is your card here. Male or female, and it doesn't matter because the queens come up as you're a cardinal sign. Capricorns are cardinal signs, and queens are cardinal signs in the tarot. So this is definitely your energy, Capricorn. But for the guys out there, this is not you. You're not a woman, okay? I understand. And for those of you that that resonate with a different gender, all of this applies as general, so it's not going to be able to resonate. It's not going to be sex specific. Even when your partner comes up, like I see here with the King of Swords, which is blatantly an Aquarius, by the way. So with the Queen of Pentacles here in the external energy, I feel like this was about your value. This is about talking about what you feel. Who you believe you're worth, what your worth really is. And I feel like maybe you had to be brave or stand up for yourself in some sort of way, because perhaps you've seen your true value. Maybe you believe that there was more that you could that you deserve to have with this energy. So that took a lot of bravery, Capricorn, okay? And I can see that because it's this is very aggressive, right? It can be combative. And I feel like it's just kind of hit the last straw with the way it looked. It just kind of hit the last straw. But you had to remain calm. You had to remain, in your space, and you had to express yourself in a way that really showed, people who they really talking to. Now, considering that this would have possibly gone well if the person handled it right, I feel like it didn't. You got the Five of Swords here. And the Five of Swords, like I said, is a ruthless energy. Somebody could have been fighting and just to want to be right. They may not have been actually right about what they were talking about, but I do get the sense that the Five of Swords was that somebody was trying to win at all costs. Someone was trying to win the argument at all costs. And they potentially had to sacrifice something, which eventually looks like it's communication or someone opening up, because here you have internally the King of Swords. Somebody's very good at communicating. Someone's very good at speaking their truth and talking about it, and internally you felt them. I feel like honestly it's considering this is your internal energy, either you were feeling the person that you were talking to, or like you just have feelings for this individual, or you believe that they were cold, that they were heartless. I'm not saying that the King of Swords is heartless at all. He's not. He's very logical, but he detaches from his emotions to be able to make logical decisions, to communicate very articulately and very very accurately. So he's very accurate with how he communicates because he detaches from his emotions. His truth is still morally based, and they come from a place to protect him, which is why he's able to detach. So okay, so when I see this energy, the Five of Swords and the King of Swords, I'm like, okay, somebody was really just like, tackling issues, but they were trying to do everything they possibly could to win. And I feel like this person potentially felt like, I feel like this individual here with the King of Swords in the internal, it could potentially, who be the person who you were arguing with, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. They put some options in front of you. They made you feel like they made you come up with what needed to be done in some sort of way. It's weird because it's weird. It's like the battle was about what you wanted, Capricorn. The battle was about what you wanted. Okay, and it's like a back and forth of what are you looking for? What are you trying to gain? What do you want? And I feel like internally you knew what you wanted, which is the King of Swords. But then you didn't know at the same time. I feel like there's some things that, you're not really 100% certain about. So that's pretty much what's keeping you from making that decision to choose this individual. Now, this person doesn't have to be an air sign. This could be absolutely anybody else. This could be a Leo for all we know, right? But this is about the energies of the King of Swords. The energy of the King of Swords is someone that is very well communicative. Like they communicate very clearly. They're very sharp. They're very absolute about their truth. They know what they want. They know how to handle situations. They're very skilled in the way that they carry themselves when it comes to debates. And perhaps this feels like a loss somewhat, or like a bittersweet ending, because maybe you've gotten to some sort of conclusion, but it still left you a bit confused. It makes you feel like externally there's nothing actually real going on, which is crazy, which makes a lot of sense, because considering the Five of Swords is here, right? And you have the King of Swords who sees all, who's very clear, and he can, he would never get confused here. But there is the external energy where things are kind of up in the air, and kind of, there's still a lot of decisions to make. You know your truth, but what do you want, right? It's like you can have a moral, but do you know what you truly want? What is your heart's desire? And was this the battle that was commenced? Did you get something out of it that you can now use to make your decision, to make clear, to find what it is that you want? Is it going to lead you to where you want, or is it going to make that process a lot more difficult? So there's some things that are going on here that do need to be revised potentially, just because I feel like there's still something here. There's still something in regards to your emotions that need to be attended to, not necessarily your truth. I feel like I feel like potentially you know what you want, which is this King of Swords. Or you guys feel like you were able to communicate with this individual very clearly, and you weren't beating around the bush, nothing. You were straightforward. But potentially there was something that may have had to be sacrificed, and now you're left to figure out what it is that you truly want. Because out of the options that are presented to you, because of what was left, because the Five of Swords is all about a battle, and usually in this image, I'll show you up close, guys. The image is pretty much showing that what's left over is the swords. There's no the people that are walking away from the situation are done. They've been defeated. But they could have been his friends. They could have been someone that was close to him. You know what I mean? So he may have lost his friendship but gained some weapons. Was it worth it then? You know what I mean? So there's some things going on here in the present that do really need to be reevaluated, or really to think twice. If it's truly something that you cannot argue with, then yeah, the King of Swords energy, that's when it comes in to be like, I'm not compromising with this. But then it leaves you with a potentially selective, a select amount of things to choose from what do you want in regards to what just went down. Now, considering that the Seven of Cups and the King of Swords is here, pretty much like, you know what you want, but you still have a decision to make. You still have a lot of options ahead of you. You still have things you have to sort out, because, you know, this Five of Swords may not have cleared up everything. It may not have been the ending of some sort of situation. There still has a lot going on, but you have to choose from what the situation was, you know, is presented, because of what potentially may happen, or might have happened already, considering this, you know, this dispute. You have the Four of Pentacles here. Like, it's just the interesting transition to that is like, somebody got, you know, somebody got felt, you know, someone got defeated. Someone's not happy with this outcome. Okay, somebody's not happy with this outcome. And then you have the Four of Pentacles here. It's like, okay, they're just holding on to what it is that they feel stable to them. They got to a place where they can feel pretty solid, but, you know, I don't think that I don't think they believe that there's more out there. It's very interesting. I think this situation kind of closed them up, because I feel like, honestly, what it looks like here is like there's something happened with this, you know, this conflict here. Something happened, and it just sort of, you know, because the options they're choosing from the options that were left, and I feel like there was a decision that was made. So he clings onto it, and he doesn't let it go, right? I see here in the Miser, he's holding on to those cards, but those Pentacles. He's like, I don't really know if I can. I don't really want to let these go. This is like all I can get, especially after what just happened. This is what I, you know, all I can grab. This is what I know for sure, that this is what I want. I don't think I can, you know, step outside my comfort zone anymore. I don't think I can really expand myself, and, you know, I don't want to, because I just went through something really brutal just to get here. I'm not getting out of this. So for some of you guys, it could be that this person is like now kind of closed off, because they felt like there's not much that they had left anyway from the argument. So they're holding everything back. They're holding everything, and maybe they don't want to start another one of these, another Five of Swords. You know, but they have to understand that conflict is, you know, builds relationships. But this could be you guys as well, right? This could be you guys. The feeling like you guys just went through a serious ordeal, battle, and then like finally you can get some peace. But where's the real peace? Because internally you have the Eight of Swords. You don't feel like there's any options, or this person doesn't feel like they have options. This person feels like there's no other way out. There's no sort of, you know, choice after this. I feel like with that, you know, the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. Jesus. The Eight of Swords here, they go hand in hand. He doesn't want to leave his nest. He doesn't want to leave what he's just able to obtain. And then it's like at the same time, he doesn't even believe that there's anything out here. He doesn't believe there's anything more he can go out there and get, because he doesn't see anything forward. He's got too many thoughts keeping him from being able to branch out and emotionally to really be even curious. It's like, maybe the curiosity killed the cat here with, you know, the Five of Swords. But the competitive energy was just like, I don't know if I can really stretch out. I don't know if I can do this, because here in the future, right? Not in the future, but in the external energy, you have the Five of Cups. Okay, and the Five of Cups, that's talking about feeling like there's something that was lost. So what did you end up losing, or what did this individual end up losing in this argument here between you and them, that they feel like they can't shift their focus to something that's possible? So there is some way, there's something else that they can go for. There's still a relationship that they can build, but they're holding back because of something that happened here. Or they're holding back because there's something that they you know, that's happening here. There's some brutal energy that's, you know, some difficult energy that's being dealt with. And I feel like this is you guys. I honestly feel like since this is a reading for you, right, it would make sense that you going through some, you know, somebody came in, you know, ready to fight, ready to kind of communicate what's going on, what their truth is, and then it got a little brutal. It got a little bit real. And, you know, you feel like you were on point, because, I feel like, honestly, you were the victor in all this, because the King of Swords is in your feelings. But again, you could have been communicating with somebody that was very sharp with their tongue, very, very direct with how they were communicating. But then ultimately, it left everything so confused that now you just like, you end up feeling like you lost something. Like there could have been something that you may have lost, but is there really something that you lost? Is it just that the argument was so intense that it just makes you feel, it makes you feel vulnerable, because you know, the communication that was here may have put you in a position where you may feel even more vulnerable than you've ever been, right? Because now you don't know which way to move. You don't know which way to go because they put you in a place of vulnerability, right? It's like they took something from you. I don't know what they took from you, but they took something from you, or something was lost in the process of this. They may not have taken anything, but through the argument process, there was something new that kind of happened here, or something sparked something to make you lose these cups. And because you lost these cups, because you're so familiar with these cups, you're holding on so tightly to what you have left because you don't see any way of being able to recover or to even build more, to be able to do something different or aspire to gain, to get to somewhere else because of this, because of something. You always lose something with the Five of Swords. You always lose something. Even when you win, you lose something. It's almost like it's an exchange, but sometimes the exchange really depends on whether or not it was worth it or not. So right now, considering the present is here, what is it that is going on that can't be handled in a way that you can at least, savor something that doesn't get you to the point where you have to hold on to, where you feel like you can't expand, you can't open up, you don't feel comfortable communicating anymore, potentially because somebody wasn't being able to listen. If they have an issue with communicating, then yeah, you have a lot of decisions to make. If you're finding it very difficult to communicate your truth and have that respected, yeah, there's some decisions that you have to make, Capricorn, right? Because you don't want to end up blocking up and then not opening up at all, and then feeling like you've lost something in the relationship. Being able to realize that there's some other options, there's other ways to rebuild the relationship. Well, after this conflict, you don't feel like. A conflict isn't meant to stay broken forever, right? Things are just not meant to stay broken forever. There is other options. However, it's going to take guts, and it's going to require bravery to be able to recognize that there isn't just this anymore. But that's where it kind of leads down to. What is going on to the point where you may feel like you may end up losing something that makes you hold back on communicating in the future? I'm going to pull you guys your Romance Angels card here for the week. One thing to remember, guys, is those, like I said, fives are never meant to stay broken. It's meant to change something that we're meant to change within ourselves, and it will give us options. It will show us, choices. But it's all about seeing that there's somewhere to go instead of possibly settling for something that you feel you're familiar with but may not be comfortable with. Okay, because you're not comfortable here. Be selfish. It's totally acceptable. This is a card of selfishness, right? That's why you lose something eventually, because that's why it's like even when you win, you still lose something, because you got to think of you first. Who else is going to think of you? Feel free to go for what you want. Let your friends help you. Ask. Oh. Okay, so ask and accept support from others. Oh, that's very interesting. Well, the Queen of Pentacles, she doesn't necessarily need anybody to help her with work. Maybe the conflict was in regards to a relationship with this individual, right? Wanting to help, wanting to pitch in somehow. But it's saying that you don't have to do everything by yourself here. So, yeah, you don't have to do anything by yourself. You don't ever have to feel like you have to, do whatever you need to do all alone. And I feel like that's what happens here in the future. It's okay to be selfish, but it's also okay to extend a hand and even to accept it. And it must be hard, right? Because you are really, you're very good at doing whatever you do solo. But with that Five of Swords here, it's really, you gotta pick your battles. You really gotta pick your battles right now, Capricorn. But pick your battles with, you know, if they've threatened your integrity, you know, you gotta get up on them, right? You gotta say, you know what, this is not happening. You gotta do what you have to do, and there's really nothing else I can say with that Five of Swords. If somebody's coming after you, like this person potentially in the past, then you gotta stand on your 2 feet, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. There's no qualms about that. But if this is you, and it's something that can be negotiated, something that can, you know, that can be communicated in a different way, that's, you know, open to compromise, then the loss won't feel so great.